Thank you, Chairwoman Fisher. Thank you so much for holding today's hearing on freight and multimodal transportation infrastructure. I am so excited to be ranking member on the Surface Transportation and Safety Subcommittee, and I am looking forward to working with you on issues important to our state, both our states and the nation. As you know, one of the most critical issues facing our nation is the growing need to reinvest in our nation's infrastructure. Our economic competitiveness depends on the efficient movement of freight, whether it is carried on highways, railways, or waterways. Every day, our freight system moves 55 million tons of goods worth $50 billion, supporting 44 million jobs. Most freight enters our country by ship through ports. It's then moved to businesses across the nation by a combination of truck and rail car. Intermodal connections become extremely important to ease the transfer of freight from one mode to another. And unfortunately, this transition is not always smooth, as we all know too well in Chicago, in my home state of Illinois. We often call northeastern Illinois the crossroads of America. The Chicagoland region is the busiest rail hub in the nation, and for decades has been the main transportation hub for goods moving throughout the United States. 6 of 7 major freight rail companies traverse the region daily, but the region's rail infrastructure, built more than a century ago, has not kept pace with demand. Fortunately, a diverse group of stakeholders is changing that. The CREATE program, a first-of-its-kind public-private partnership and a project of national significance, will provide the important investments needed to modernize the region's rail infrastructure to improve reliability and safety. I'm very proud that CREATE has received significant federal funds, including a $132 million infra grant in 2018. These improvements will not only help the Chicagoland region, but the entire state of Illinois and our nation. Federal funding for freight and intermodal projects is critical to attract state, local, and private infrastructure investment. This is why I am a big supporter of federal funding for programs like Infra and Build. The federal government must be a strong partner to spearhead freight projects from which we all benefit. Highways and bridges also suffer from underinvestment. Traffic bottlenecks cost the trucking industry more than $60 billion a year in lost productivity and fuel. This increases the cost of everything we make, buy, or export. Too many bridges are in need of repair. According to the American Road and Transportation Builders Association, more than 54,000 bridges across the nation are structurally deficient. 54,000. In Illinois, 2,300 bridges, or essentially 8% of all the bridges in our state, are in structurally deficient, and Cook County are in structurally deficient state, and Cook County has some of the most traveled structurally deficient bridges in the state and in the country. I want to thank all of our witnesses for joining us today. In particular, I want to recognize Joe Szabo, who is here today. Joe, you've been a real leader on transportation issues from your time in the rail industry to village trustee and mayor, to the FRA administrator, to CMAP executive director. Few others have the knowledge and experience that you bring to the table on these issues. Thank you for being here. I look forward from hearing from the rest of the panel about how we can improve our freight transportation system. I thank you each, and I yield back.